Well, that was certainly a movie. Predator Badlands is a brand new science fiction action film directed by Dan Trachtenberg, starring Elle Fanning and Dimitrius Schuster-Koloamatangi. And if you're looking for somebody who's a fan of the Predator franchise, you found him. I grew up with this franchise. I absolutely loved the first one. It scared the absolute hell out of me growing up. But my family, we would rewatch it all the time just because we loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it had that perfect balance of like crazy action, but also that horror. And as the years have gone on and it's mixed together with the Alien franchise, we've definitely had some good films. We've also had some not so great films, but more recently we had Dan Trachtenberg coming out with Prey, which I absolutely loved, and then we had Predator Killer of Killers. And I actually did a reaction for that here on the channel and I absolutely loved it. And so going into this film, when I saw that they were making Predator Badlands, I was excited, but I was also just really curious because we're gonna have this movie where the Predator is at the center of it. And in my head, that can really only go one of two ways. Like, the Predator is the villain, right? Like, from the first Predator on, you look at the Predator and it's just straight horror. It's scary. Like, you don't want to mess with the Predator. So when you're putting that character at the center of a film, I was hoping that they kind of honored that and they made you understand, like, why these Predators are so badass instead of, like, humanizing the Predator. But now I have seen Predator Badlands. I'm on the other side of it, and it definitely went in a direction that I wasn't quite hoping for, and I really wasn't expecting. I would say this movie is a very good sci-fi adventure action film, but not a great Predator film. And so there's a lot to talk about here and a lot to break down. So what is up, my friends? My name is Danny. Welcome back to Jones Vibes. I do want to let you know before I dive into this review that it is a spoiler-free review. So if you're worried about anything like that, don't worry, I won't be spoiling this movie for you. As always, while I'm reviewing this, please head down to the comments section. Leave me your thoughts. Your opinion's always welcome, but without further ado, let's talk Predator Badlands. The synopsis reads, cast out from its clan, an alien hunter and an unlikely ally embark on a treacherous journey in search of the ultimate adversary. And that premise alone is pretty dope, and coming off of the heels of Killer of Killers, we learned a lot about these Predators. Really, in that movie, you had the Predator coming to Earth battling a champion from different centuries, and then what I loved about it is they took the champion and they took them to their own planet, and then they had like this gladiatorial game where they pitted them against each other, and all of that feels so ruthless, and that plays into what I'm talking about with the Predator, right? Like, that is horrific. That is one of those things where when you think about the Predator, when you think about what this species is, you're just kind of afraid of it, you know what I mean? Like, even if you've seen things defeat the Predator, you're still kind of in awe at just how like tough and tactical and perfect they are. And I think what this film was trying to accomplish was just that, like placing a Predator on a planet with all of these crazy monsters and showcasing just how resourceful they are and just how tough they are. And I think that it is a well-intentioned film, but I think by doing that, by centering this movie around this character, you start to lose the essence of what this franchise is. And that's what happens when you're playing in the realm of franchises, of a big IP like Predator. They've done such a great job so far at capturing this essence, but if you're trying to branch out and do different things, you run that risk. And for me, it just didn't quite work out. I think that Arnold said it best when he said, "You are one ugly motherfucker." Like, he looks at this alien, and it's burned in my memory, man. Like, I watched this so many times growing up, but he's looking at this alien, and this alien is freaking hideous. And so, like, at that time, when you're looking at that alien, at least me as a kid, and even now watching that film, I would never think, like, that Predator's really ugly. We should put that ugly face at the center of a movie and follow it the whole time. That's really gonna get audiences interested. Like, for me at least, the aesthetic of the entire film was just so hard to follow and so hard to connect to, because the entire time I was looking at the face of this monster and just being like, God, you are so gross to look at. Like, there's nothing compelling there. There's nothing that I can latch onto. I will say that the fact that this is a franchise and there is kind of a sandbox to play in definitely does help it along a bit. You have Elle Fanning playing this synthetic, and I thought the incorporation of the Weyland-Yutani stuff from Alien, from the Alien franchise, was a lot of fun. I love the connection there. I love what we're doing there, but I think since this movie was sort of a miss, and since it's kind of breathing life into a different side of the franchise that we've never seen, and for me is kind of like casting a shadow on it, I don't want that to then like bleed some like neon green blood into the Alien franchise that has honestly done really, really well. Like, I really enjoyed Alien Romulus. But when you're watching this film, ugly main character aside, and you have this synthetic that's kind of along there, and you have this like kind of buddy adventure thing going on, you're sort of rooting for it. The entire movie, I was hoping that it would turn a corner and get really gruesome all of a sudden, or do something unexpected that really blew my mind in a way where I was like, okay, I understand why they did this. I understand why they made this decision. It never quite gets there, but I will say that a lot of the action in classic Dan Trachtenberg style is really, really fun to watch. It's a franchise that deserves to have moments like this, and I think that this film, more than any other Predator film that has ever come out, is going to be very accessible for viewers, and then maybe that's going to open up the franchise so they'll go watch the other movies. My only fear is that this movie is going to really change the perspective for new viewers as well as even old viewers on the original films. Like, going back and watching the first film, the way that they humanize the character in this, you don't want to be looking at the original Predator and being like, aww. Like, that is so missing the point of what this franchise is. And as cool as it is to see Predator go full on Star Wars, this movie is teetering on the edge of like a franchise ruiner. And I didn't expect for that to be the case. I did have a great time as far as the movie was concerned. It is a great sci-fi action adventure film. There's not much wrong with it. There's not a lot of dialogue to really critique, and the plot is so simple that it's not like I can rip that to shreds. Basically, you have this main character who is trying to prove himself. There's some stuff that happens in the beginning that kind of showcases what the family aspect of the Yataja or whatever, what the family aspect of their clans look like, and then the main character going off and trying to like prove himself to the rest of the clan. It's a big deal for him, and you do start to understand some of the reasons why the character is doing this, and it does have some character work for the Predator. As far as that's concerned too, I thought Dimitrius Schuster-Koloamatangi, I hope I'm saying that right, but he plays Deck, the main character, and he was great. You know, obviously he is in this entire prosthetic suit that probably has different CGI elements to it, and there's a ton going on, and so you're not really getting the human performance from him, but what he did do was a lot of fun, and I thought like the vocals that he provided, the voice acting that he provided was crazy, dude. Like, I don't know how somebody does that. I really don't have any complaints about either of the performances. I thought Elle Fanning, with what she had to do, was awesome. If we could see her pop up in a future Alien project, I don't know, seeing her like acting alongside of maybe David, like Michael Fassbender's synthetic, that'd be so sick. And I thought she played it really, really great. But again, it's the meshing of these two things here. And I wanted to go along on the ride with them, but I love this franchise. I love this franchise dearly. And what it is to me, although it's not a straight up horror film, the first Predator, it's very similar to like Alien. It's very similar to maybe the first Terminator. It is horror. It has that element, and that's the important part of the franchise for me. And so as much fun as it was having like little creatures come into the mix, and there's this whole family element going on, and a lot of really cheesy kind of comedy dialogue going on, as much fun as all that was, it just didn't check all the boxes for me as a franchise film. So I know that that sounds all bad, but I do want to let you know you're probably not as big a fan of the franchise as I am. But even if you are, go into it, have an open mind, and see what you think. Some of the action, again, is crazy, dude. Like, the Predator has a sword that lights up very similar to a lightsaber. There's a battle between two of them with two of these swords. It's freaking epic. Some of the visuals are epic, and the monsters, I would compare it to some of the Monsterverse stuff. There's a lot of CGI in this film, but it's really well done CGI, and it is an adventure that's a great time to see on the big screen. So I would highly encourage anybody to get up and go out and make up their own mind on this one. I'm just a little bit sour because I love my original Predator films, and I don't want to watch those original Predator films with this like charming Predator in mind and be like, oh, I actually kind of like the Predator though. That's not what I'm here for. That's not why I'm watching this franchise. That's not what I want out of it. But I still am looking forward to the future of it. I thought Killer of Killers was so freaking great, and I hope that they make more of these movies, and I hope eventually it goes back in the Prey direction rather than the Badlands direction. But as for my Jones Vibe star rating, I am giving Predator Badlands 3 out of 5 stars, and I got no doubt about that. But if you end up seeing the movie, please head down to the comments. Let me know all of your thoughts. I would love to know your opinion. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? What did you like about the movie? What did you not like about the movie? I would absolutely love to hear from you guys. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, I make reviews and reactions, and we have a great time. But more than anything, I hope you're out there and you're keeping up the good vibes. I will see you in the next video, all right? Peace!